Just a couple quick pregame announcements before tip-off tonight. Please help me in welcoming Desire to Learn to tonight's Titan game. A special welcome to Desire to Learn. Also a reminder that after the game tonight, you can head on over to Abe Herb on Charles Street in Kitchener for a post-game meet and greet for some great food and drinks. Only $18 for a pint and a pound of wings when you show your KW Titans ticket at Abe Herb on Charles Street. Just a reminder, if you haven't done so already, please pick up your 50/50 tickets for tonight's draw. Kitchener Sports Association volunteers are selling tickets right now and will be throughout the first half. We will announce the winner in the third quarter. Also remember to swing by the KW Titans merchandise stand up in the concourse. You can pick up Titans shirts, hats, sweaters, and lots of other Titans souvenirs. Also a reminder for the protection of the players and officials and fans, and of course in the spirit of good sportsmanship, the National Basketball League of Canada requests that you refrain from throwing any objects on the court. Such behavior can cause serious injury that will be ejected and subject to arrest. We also remind you that any spectator going onto the court or interrupting play in any manner will be ejected and subject to arrest. Thank you in advance for your cooperation. Also remember, you can celebrate our region's everyday heroes with the KW Titans. Join us for our First Responders Appreciation Night coming up January 24th here at the Odd. You can honor the men and women who work tirelessly to keep our community safe while cheering on the KW Titans at the same time, enjoying fan giveaways and some friendly competitions. Tickets are only $12.50 and $2.50 per every ticket will be donated to the Children's Safety Village. You can purchase online or in purchase with the promo code Titans911. Tip-off will begin in just under 4 minutes. Exciting National Basketball League of Canada action as the visiting Moncton Magic are in town to take on your KW Titans. We will have your starting lineups in a moment, but first to honor Canada, we ask that you please stand and remove your caps for the singing of our national anthem. Tonight's anthem will be performed by Evelyn O'Toole. Let's hear it for Evelyn O'Toole. And now here are your starting lineups. First for the visitors on the scoreboard, wearing black, the Moncton Magic. A 6'7" forward from Lawrence, South Carolina, number 0, Terrell Baines. A 5'10" guard from Chicago, Illinois, number 10, Al Stewart. A 5'11" guard from Lynn, Massachusetts, number 12, Anthony Anderson. A 6'4" guard from Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, number 13, Terry Thomas. And a 6'9" center from West Hempstead, New York, number 41, Anthony Cox. The Magic are coached by Joe Salerno with his assistants Mitch Rowley and Todd McKillop. And now, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and welcome to the floor. They are brought to you all season long by Control Hair. It's your KW Titans Dance Pack. A 6-foot guard from Queens, New York, number 1, Darren Duncan. A 6'3" guard from Toronto, Ontario, number 9, 6'9" forward from Dallas, Texas, number 23, Kevin Rogers. 6'5" forward from Kansas City, Missouri, number 24, Justin Hurt. And a 7-foot forward from Northampton, Pennsylvania. Look up, look way up. It's number 35, Derek Hall. Titans are coached by Serge Langton, with the assistants Rob Damiani, Jody Moore, and Mike Quigley. The officials for tonight's contest: Rich Stellick, Sean Grilly, and Mike Curry. Titans fan tip-off ready to begin. Make some noise, be loud all night long. Let the Titans hear ya. Out of bounds, Moncton ball. Anthony Cox. Kevin Rogers for 3. Terry Thomas. Count the basket for Justin Hurt. Charge the foul to the Magic's number 12, Anthony Anderson, his first, team's first. Justin Hurt at the line, shooting 1. Good on the free throw. Stewart. Derek Hall. Justin Hurt for three. Terry Thomas for three. Derek Hall with a long two. Justin Hurt. Terrell Baines. Out of bounds, Titans ball, 17 seconds on the shot clock. Fouls on the Magic, number 0, Terrell Baines. That is his first, team's second. Kevin Rogers. Stewart is second, team's fourth. Foul for the Titans, number 1, Darren Duncan, called for the hold, his first, team's first. Sub in for Moncton, number 3, Corey Almond. Anderson for 2. Tromar Sutherland. Terry Thomas. Derek Hall with 2 more. three off the steal. Fouls in the Magic, number 12, Anthony Anderson is second. Team's fifth. Nigel Tider into the game for the Titans, and for the Magic, number 2, Jason Caliste. Correction on the foul calls on the Titans, number 12, Greg Morrow is first, team's third. Out of bounds, still Moncton ball, 14 seconds of the shot clock. Out of bounds, Moncton ball, 20 seconds of the shot clock. Under 1 minute to play in the first quarter. Russell Berger called for the foul, his first, team's fourth. Jason Caliste to the line, he will shoot three. Jason Caliste got a 1 of 3.
We apologize for any technical difficulties throughout the first quarter of this game, folks, but it appears everything is up and running now here from the odd. Moncton and Kitchener-Waterloo facing off on this Wednesday night. 27-25 is the Magic. That with about an 8-second differential game clock, shot clock. The miss, but a foul going to be called. And it looks like it's going to go on Nigel Tider. And that will be his first. Ian Jodry and Dan Paulchuk here with you from the odd in Kitchener, Ontario. We mentioned the Titans looking to make consecutive wins for the first time this season. Moncton, this is their 4th game of their Central Division road trip. They are so far 1-2 on the trip, and talk about they might be a little bit tired after hashing it out in London over the weekend.
And on top of all that, their 5th game in the last 7 days, so certainly kind of running on fumes, if you will. But the Kitchener-Waterloo Titans, they're coming in on a short turnaround, so which team is going to be phased the most with, I guess, most of the quick turnaround, or is it the bulk of action that Moncton has had?
This is game 2 of a 5-game homestand for the Titans. Corey Allman going 2 for 2 from the line that time. Here's Ahmad Starks with 4 to shoot. Bird. That's an ugly-looking one to end the quarter, and we're all square. 27 aside after 12 minutes of play. Kevin Rogers picking up where he left off yesterday. 8 points. Derek Hall, 8 points of his own, and those are two guys that they're going to rely heavily on down the stretch. And you got to think with the new addition of Justin Hurt, and try and sort of change the direction that the team's heading in.
Yes, indeed. Justin Hurt making his 4th appearance with the Titans since signing on with the team. He's a slasher and a pure scorer, to be sure, and he's proven that in those 3 appearances. Missed yesterday's ball game due to a hip contusion suffered in practice the day before yesterday. So head coach Serge Langes certainly happy to have him back, as the Titans are still down one body on the roster, and that signing is just around the corner. That'll be another guard that the Titans will apparently be adding. But you're right, Derek Hall has been playing fantastic as of late, especially as the team has really focused in on him as a key cog of their offense, and he's returned that dedication to him in spades on the offensive score sheet. Unfortunately for the team, it hasn't resulted in W's in the win column, but yesterday might be the start of a turnaround perhaps as they snap that 6-game losing streak. Titans trying to climb back and battle it out for that final playoff spot.
As you mentioned, 3rd time's the charm. They were taking on the St. John's Edge for the 3rd game in a row. They lost the first 2 in Newfoundland over the weekend. Then yesterday, a big school day win at home, and many might argue, hey, the Edge, they were without Carl English, who's arguably one of the top players in the country, but in all fairness, the Titans were also without one of their key additions in Justin Hurt, who over his first 3 games with the team averaging 19 points. So you can kind of take it from both sides, and regardless, KW's going to be happy to have Hurt back in the lineup this evening.
Absolutely. He brings a unique presence to the lineup. Very aggressive in his approach, but he's got a good shot. The knock on him really was his defensive side of his game, but we'll see what kind of returns the team has in that respect going forward. Small sample size thus far. Hard to make any sort of true assessment of that. But Hurt joins the team after Coach Langes connected with him in the offseason. Played some G League ball.
The Titans, they shot just about 52% in that first quarter. And they get the ball to start the second. A foul called. It looks like it's going to go on Taylor. Indeed it is.
And somewhat refreshing to see this continued strong start from the Titans. It hasn't always been the case for them, but 21 points in the first quarter and over 50% shooting. I think, in fact, closer to 58% shooting after 1 quarter play yesterday, and about 50% again after the initial 12 minutes here tonight.
However, they commit their 5th turnover right off the foul. Here's Almond. Out wide for Calise, of course, making his return to Kitchener.
And we all know what he can do. He's another one of those pure scorers, smooth stroke, and he can hit it from anywhere.
Morrow off the feet from James, drives to the hoop, and that leads to 2 free throws. Morrow drawing the foul. Taylor picks up his 2nd.
And Morrow, pretty solid himself this season in his 2nd year with the Titans out of Western. Has been lead on quite heavily by Coach Langes, along with Jamar Sutherland. Those two have probably been the most consistent of the Titans, especially in regards to their defensive effort.
Morrow, 2 for 2 from the line that time.
As he gets on the score sheet now.
Marquise Clayton, the drive. He looking for Brett Jennings. Shot over Denzel James won't go, and James able to handle the rebound. 29-27. We're 13 minutes into this one. Titans with that slim lead. James on the wing against Calise. Entry pass to Titer. Titer trying to back down, tail in the post. Turnaround high off the glass. Won't go. Brett Jennings there for the rebound. Here's Almond against Bird. Almond for three. And the Moncton lead.
Yes, nice shot there. Open look for Almond.
Almond that time was digging for the steal, but Morrow beat him. Step back jumper from Morrow off the mark. Here's Clayton in transition. Tough shot, and it appears he got fouled. It looks like it's going to go on Bird. It's actually going to go on Denzel James, his first. With that, Rogers going to check back in. We mentioned a team high 16 for him yesterday and 8 points in the opening frame here tonight.
Only held to 6 second-half points, though, as he was dealing with some foul issues, too. He, along with Hall, with 4 apiece. Credit to them for still contributing in terms of their presence and solidifying that victory yesterday. They certainly needed him at times.
The officials getting together to make sure that he was in the act of shooting. Indeed, Clayton will head to the line for 2.
And the officials here this evening, led by crew chief Rich Stellick, are John Grilly and Mike Curry.
Clayton, a rookie in the league out of Halifax, played at St. Mary's for the Huskies and 2 for 2 from the stripe that time.
I'm sure he and Kyle Arsenault know each other quite well, both AUS grads, Arsenault having played for Acadia.
Morrow, the baseline drive, they work the perimeter. Starks, open 3, won't go.
That's a good look, though. Some good ball distribution there from KW. Like that movement from him for that shot from Starks.
Almond going to try it over Morrow, but Bird there off the miss.
Feeling good after that initial 3. Tried to catch and shoot there over Morrow.
Starks off that screen from Rogers, tries to slip around the defense, but floats to James. Risky pass. James, step around the float and the score. Denzel James gets on the score sheet for the first time tonight and cuts it to a 1-point game.
Denzel James doesn't put up a ton of points. Only just under 2 points a game, 2 points a game, and just shy of 6 minutes of action.
Calise going for the circus shot, but got bumped, and now he'll head to the line for a pair. Rogers picks up his first foul in the evening, and we're going to see Hurt check back into the game as well.
But to finish that thought on James, when he has been in lineup, he shows a lot of good movement on the floor. Doesn't put it necessarily up on the stat sheet, but brings some energy off the bench as he heads off right now. As Hurt makes his way back on, as you were saying.
Caliste back to the line in a building he is very familiar with. Playing his 5th game with the Magic. So far perfect from the free throw line.
Out of Oregon, former Duck, leads the team in 3-point shooting percentage in his short time with the squad.
Calise 2 for 2 from the line, and it's 34-31 Magic with just about 3 minutes into this second quarter. Rogers to Morrow in the corner. Morrow trying to spin past Almond, floats it off the glass, but can't drop.
Quick footwork there from Morrow, but defender staying with him step for step, and that run the other way results in another pair for Moncton.
Almond the transition bucket, and it's back to a 5-point Magic lead. Starks gets the screen from Rogers, deep 3, no good.
We've seen this before from the Titans. They don't want to start settling for these threes. Keep attacking the basket.
And attacking the basket, I'm sure you'll see after the next substitution, as Hall's set to check in, but there's the big jam from Anthony Cox, and that'll prompt a Serge Langis timeout.
John Q, it's the Moncton Magic instead going right at the rim and the hoop. Exactly what Coach Langis wants to see duplicated with his squad. We've seen spurts of some good ball rotation, but for the most part, nothing really going inside for KW.
Just one other game tonight in the league. The Edge, of course, in their Ontario swing. They're taking on London and up 11 in the early stages. That is a tough building to go into and win, especially when you're doing it without Carl English. So we're keeping an eye on that scoreboard tonight.
Looking for a bounce back after that loss again yesterday. It's a pretty solid squad. They're a scrappy bunch, to be sure, the Edge, despite having their top scorer out of the lineup due to a broken nose and potential concussion from reports from out east. Carl English having suffered that knock against these very same KW Titans when KW was out on their trip. The second of two matchups they had.
It'll be Rogers, Hall, Hurt, Sutherland, and Starks back out for KW. Joe Salerno will counter with Almond, Baines, Caliste, Cox, and Clayton. Of course, the big scorers on this team, you think Terry Thomas, third in the league in scoring, Anthony Anderson, the all-time leading scorer, and Al Stewart, who's made a name for himself, but all three on the bench here that we have not seen in the second quarter.
Well, the bench is doing for Moncton right now, outscoring KW's bench 14-7. Why not ride this group out?
And that one appeared to go off Almond and out, but they're going to say it was last touched by Sutherland. So right out of the timeout, not what you want to see if you're the Titans in a turnover.
They need a spark right here. Just 4 points in the second quarter. We're nearing the midway point.
Clayton, the drive, and Rogers is going to pick up foul number 2.
And we might see him come out relatively soon.
For a player of his caliber and his role on this team, definitely can't see him pick up a third before the half.
As Marquise Clayton has his first rattle in. Very much like an Ahmad Starks in stature. This has 5'8". Might even have maybe half an inch on Starks.
Clayton, good on both. Hurt, trying to work on Baines. A bullet into the corner, but able to keep it alive with Starks. Right back to Hurt. That three short, and the rebound and the score from Rogers.
Great putback there as Rogers was in pursuit of that rebound, but what a pair of hands there from Starks, saving that pass to begin with to allow that play to progress.
Almond, the left-hand dribble, gets the screen from Cox. Baines, Clayton, and it's Caliste knocking down the three.
On cue, as I was saying, 60.9 from beyond the arc. Average is just shy of 4 per game, three-pointers that is.
Hurt, long 2, won't go. And Caliste, we saw him do that last year and definitely played a big role with the Titans after being picked up, but overall was nagged by injuries down the stretch and wasn't able to have as much of an impact as Titans fans might have liked to have seen. Hall, open 3. No good from the big man.
Yeah, Caliste was dealing with that wrist injury from what I recall. For most of the latter part of that season, taped up pretty heavily.
Almond rolls off the screen, long 2, no good. But Baines gets 2 hands on it, and once again Moncton an offensive rebound and chance for more points. Clayton draws contact from Starks, throws it up. Marquise Clayton heading back to the line for 2.
Yeah, Starks bit on the pump fake there from Clayton. Saw him out of the corner of his eyes. Starks flying in, trying to the very least disrupt the shooter. He did that, but in a legal way, obviously, with the foul call. As Joe Salerno gives a high five there to Allman as he heads off. Salerno, the winningest coach in NBL Canada history, was let go by the Island Storm last year and has himself a new team with some familiar faces as well, as you mentioned already.
A Storm team that he took to the final 2 years in a row. Hall down low, pass to Hurt. Oh, what a pass and what a drive from Hurt.
He wanted to finish that one off. That was a nice look, no-look pass from Derek Hall. Had a quick glance and then found Hurt in stride. Just couldn't get it off or bank it off the window and in. He'll head to the line instead.
Hurt in his 3 games with KW, an 86% free throw shooter. Good on number 1. Terry Thomas has also checked back in for Moncton. He had 7 points in that opening frame as Hurt goes 2 for 2 and once again brings KW within 9. Clayton off that shovel feed from Caliste. Pass goes to nobody but Thomas here to clean it up. Thomas, the turnaround, no good. A chance for another offensive rebound, and they've got it. Caliste 2 hands on it, and a fresh 24 again for Moncton. Clayton 3, no good. Rebound, Cox goes out of bounds, and once again, the Magic will have it.
Some fantastic hustle there from the Magic. They seem to be flying all over the place, getting inside positioning there on Rogers, who got a fingernail on it, if you want to put it that way. Went up for it, and the contested tip out. Last touch by KW.
Baines, the inbound, and they work it back up top to Clayton. Thomas, watched by Sutherland. Caliste, the right-hand dribble, they work into the corner. Baines drives the one-hand floater, no good. Another opportunity for the Magic, battling down low, and Caliste converts from 3.
Smooth like butter right there, Jason Caliste nails it. And for Caliste, that's number 2, or number 3 rather. No, check that number 2, 2 for 2 from beyond the arc.
Hurt to Duncan, Hall. Rogers now in the paint, drive and the miss. Like that move from Rogers,
Absolutely.
Just couldn't get it to go.
Right idea there from 23.
Cox, the long 2. Rogers there off the miss.
Tigers need a good possession here.
Justin Hurt the drive, and it's going to go out of bounds, but will stay with KW, and it gives Moncton a chance to switch out their guards. Al Stewart, Anthony Anderson back into the ball game.
Yeah, this offense is sputtering right now. Gotta take their time here and give themselves a good look. High percentage shots.
Hurt. Use it for Holla. A little give and go. Hurt the drive to the corner. Sutherland's 3-ball puts it in. Sutherland needed a big answer there, and once again brings KW back within 9.
Titans able to work it to the weak side. Anderson came out to challenge and can't allow that sort of penetration. We've seen that already too many times tonight.
Another big jam, that time Terrell Baines. And it's once again a double-digit Magic lead. Hurt the long pass across for Duncan. Gets that screen from Rogers. Duncan all the way across Sutherland. Sutherland step back 3. Well short, right into the hands of Al Stewart. Anderson in transition. Blows by Duncan, flips it up, won't go, and an offensive foul called on double A.
And there's Tremar Sutherland sacrificing the body as he gets an assist from his teammates, getting him back on his feet. But this quarter, boy, has Moncton ever really clamped down defensively, really proven why they're the second best defensive team in the entire league, only giving up 102.8 points a game in this quarter. It's been one to forget, really, for the Titans.
Titans led by as many as 7 in the first, ended up being tied after the opening 12 minutes. Duncan passes out of the shot. Sutherland, 3, once again well off the mark. That's 2 straight shots now from Sutherland that haven't even found the rim.
5 for 15 now for KW on the catch and shoot 3. And a timeout being called here on the floor with 3 minutes exactly to go in the ball game.
Coach Lerno wanted to talk things over with his team, and I imagine it's going to be a pretty friendly conversation. Up 11 with 3 minutes to go. They've looked good this quarter, not only limiting KW and forcing the settle for some low percentage looks, but the offensive battle, 9 offensive rebounds, leading to 11 second chance points, and we're not even at halftime.
And points in the paint for sure with a 6-point advantage. We talked about the inside presence that Moncton has had for the most part, but the bench has played spectacularly for Moncton. 23-7 outscoring the Titans. That second unit has really been a spark plug here for the away side.
Definitely got to think that they're in a comfortable spot if they're beating the Titans starters with their bench on the floor, and they're able to rest Thomas and Anderson. Of course, Thomas, top 3 scorer in the league. If you can maintain them till the end of the game, then you're in cruise control mode.
Only played 8 minutes in that 97-94 loss to Niagara. So anytime you can maybe give him an extra break here to kind of ease back, certainly would pay dividends. We certainly would like to remind everyone tuning in live on YouTube this evening, send us your thoughts, comments, and feedback on tonight's game and broadcast using the live chat function on the right side of your screen. Would love to hear from you. And we'll certainly engage when given the opportunity throughout today's broadcast. And just receiving word that our counterpart, our colleague out east with the Moncton Magic play-by-play man David Tingley tuning in for today's broadcast. A salute to him from Kitchener.
It'll remain Moncton ball here off the foul, and 24 on the shot clock, and now the officials getting that together to discuss.
Still trying to get things sorted out as all three come together to figure it out. I think it's one of those kind of quarters where Coach Landris actually doesn't mind the extra break here. Lets his team settle down maybe and get an extra breath. It's been hard fought. The baskets just haven't been falling, or the shots haven't been falling for KW.
Still some discussions as officials over at the table.
Terrell Baines just looking to inbound it. Baines spent some time in the G League himself, playing with the Erie Bayhawks for a couple seasons. All the way back in the late thousands to 2010, 2011, playing with Marshall, where he averaged just shy of 19 points a game.
Baines working inside on Bird. Baines gets the turnaround to drop, and that Moncton lead is as big as it's been at 13.
And on cue, it's the former Marshall man that has it roll in for him.
Hurt with the shot clock down to 8. Tries to float it inside the hall, and it looks like he caught a break. He was pushed by Cox.
Anthony Cox maybe just getting a bit of an extra shove in there, tried to sell it off as just contact between the two. They battled in the blocks, but I'm not sure you would have gotten that kind of forward momentum as Derek Hall did without an extra from a little bit from behind.
Hurt, quick release 2, won't go. And Stewart off the rebound. Now Stewart watched by Duncan and down low to Baines. Baseline J won't go, and Hall there for the rebound. Sutherland, watched by Thomas, is gonna work it to Hall down low. Hall leaves it for Hurt. Nice find, but couldn't get to go. Hurt grabs his own rebound, and he will head to the free throw line. Looks like Justin Hurt gonna have a chance for two.
Might be Anthony Cox there with the foul call, and he's an interesting story, this Anthony Cox. Played last year with the Halifax Hurricanes, originally from New York State. Traveled with the Harlem Globetrotters for 5 years, in fact. After playing some semi-pro and played semi-pro ball in basketball, or in Baltimore rather, but provides a veteran presence to this lineup, some toughness too, and also to add all to that, a degree in child psychology.
Hall working down low on Taylor. Hall takes it himself, flips it off the glass. They're going to call it travel. I imagine he must have lifted his pivot foot there. Didn't really see what happened.
Yeah, it's been a frustrating kind of game and a half now for Derek Hall. Chatting with him post-game yesterday, frustrated that a couple potential calls were missed, really. And they're trying to explain, or defend himself anyways, with the latest infraction.
Terrell Baines backing in on Sutherland, flips it up, gets it to drop.
Travel call.
But a travel call the other way. Back-to-back travel calls, first Hall, then Baines. With 1:13 to go, the Titans trying to cut into that 13-point lead. Here's Duncan.
How many times have we said it? Make it that single-digit deficit to go a long way going to the locker room.
The Titans were up 20+ at the break yesterday. Duncan rolls off the screen, floats in the Hall, draws a double team into the corner. Morrow 3, and he'll get that one to drop.
They were initially drawing that up for a Hall, but that pass forced him on his back foot or back heel even, and had at least Morrow for an option, secondary option. And fortunately for the KW Titans, they were able to finalize things with the 3.
Stewart, the shot clock down to 5. Tries to float it inside, and Baines goes down hard. He got crossed up with Bird, and there was no foul called. Baines simply just fell over him, and then getting talked to by the official. Don't believe a technical was issued, so it should just stay Titans ball, but before they inbound, Coach Land just wants to talk things over.
Just taking another look at what occurred down low. As he and Bird were jostling for position, and that's a pretty good sell job. Looking at the replay of that one. So good theatrics, good marks for that. I don't think I've ever seen the finger wag on the Kiss cam.
As mentioned, just one other game in the league tonight. St. John's up 43-29 on London with about 7 minutes to go before the half there. We're just about 29 seconds till the half, so Coach Langis sends out Hall, Morrow, Sutherland, Bird, and Duncan. 5.2 seconds the difference between the two clocks. Titans want to get a high percentage look here, and as you mentioned, trim it down to single digits before heading to the locker room. Here's Duncan. Duncan into the corner, had it pulled free.
Great double team there.
Now with all kinds of numbers, Thomas the easy lay-in, and the Magic will head to the locker room up 12.
Duncan forced to a corner, and that was textbook defense there from the Magic, forcing the turnover and then quickly up the floor for another two before heading off for the break.
A disaster out of the timeout for KW. They don't capitalize, and they give up an easy two in transition. 53-41, Moncton with the lead. We got the second half coming up for you in about 15 minutes. Second half just about underway here at the Odd. Ian Jodry and Dan Paulchuk here with you on this Wednesday night. Strong start for the Titans. They were up by as many as 7 in the first, but things really slipped away in that second quarter.
Held to just 14 points in that second frame. Moncton scoring 26 in the second quarter. Kevin Rogers, though, of KW, leading all scorers with 10 points, 3 rebounds. Justin Hurt, Derek Hall with 8 apiece. The latter of the two with 5 rebounds to his name. On the Moncton side of things, 3 players with 9 points apiece: Terry Thomas, Jason Caliste, and Corey Allman. And Jason Caliste with 5 rebounds as well. KW held to just 38.9% from the field shooting-wise. Moncton at 45% heading into the third quarter of play. And it's Moncton again that lead it by 12 as we begin the second half here from Kitchener.
Duncan, Hurt, Hall, Sutherland, and Rogers back on the court for KW to start this second half, but it will be Moncton ball to start. Here's Al Stewart. Anderson is watched by Hurt. Draws a double team, finds Baines open for a long 2, won't go. And Duncan has the rebound. Duncan works it down low for Hall. And drops for Rogers. He gets tied up, and looks like the foul's going to go on Terrell Baines.
We should also mention nice moment pre-game. Derek Hall welcoming some family to tonight's game, and looks like his mom is in attendance. Nice photo from mid-court there as warm-ups were wrapping up. And by his Twitter feed, all accounts there, it seemed like it was quite the trek with plane cancellations and whatnot. I'm certainly happy to welcome her to Kitchener. I'm sure Derek is happy to see his mom for maybe a day or two. Hopefully after all that travel especially.
Baines over to Anderson. Watched by Hurt. There's Terry Thomas slashing against traffic, kicks to Cox, but there's a foul. Thomas drew that before he got the pass off. It's going to go on Sutherland, so that'll be his first of the night.
Again, the story of tonight's game has really been that bench of Moncton outscoring KW's by 13 points. And then the presence in the paint they've had. 20 points to KW's 10. One reason why their shooting percentage is hovering or trending higher than KW's at the moment.
Anderson pops the 3, but rattles in and out. Hall. Now Duncan. Trying to slip off the screen down low. Nice pass for Hall, but misfires in close. And Thomas trying to take it in transition. Leaves it for Stewart. Stewart going to take things out as Moncton resets offensively in the half court. Thomas against Sutherland. Trying to get some help from Cox. The long 2 from Thomas is short.
Foul off the ball, though, it looks like, just as that loose ball was going to be gathered in. Going to go against KW.
Sutherland 2 fouls, and once again a matter of minutes.
Mentioned yesterday morning, for those who might not have been tuning in for that affair between KW and St. John's. Toronto Sutherland recently joining a 1,000 point club. It was over the course of that road trip.
Rogers the drive, and he's going to get called for the offensive foul, I believe. Indeed he is.
And that will be number 3 for Rogers. Despite putting up the 10 points, those haven't come easy for him. Had to maneuver through a lot of traffic down low.
Here's Thomas trying to spin off Duncan, draws a double team down low. We're able to recover. 5 to shoot. Thomas slips between both defenders, throws it off the glass, but couldn't get it to go over Derek Hall. Duncan, open look for 3, but off the mark. Hall the board, the pump fake, and the score.
Nice move down low by the big man, Derek Hall. He's into double digits now. It's a nice ball game.
Stewart, washed by Duncan defensively. Thomas now trying to cross up on Sutherland, able to get through and scores. What a move from Terry Thomas, and it's a 12-point Moncton lead.
And for Thomas, that was even more impressive. He seemed to slip just ever so slightly, allowing Sutherland to get even with him defensively, but then blew by him yet again and able to convert with the layup.
Hall in trouble and leaves it for Duncan now. Back down to Hall, working in the post on Anthony Cox. Hall with 2 on the shot clock, just spins and scores weak side.
Some good basketball IQ there for Hall, as he had a wall to deal with to his left side as the double came in and collapsed on him. Nothing but an open lane to his right and turned into an easy layup in the end.
Anderson off the crossover, drives and scores. Pretty move from AA, restoring that 12-point Moncton lead. Hurt for 3, no good. Thomas trying to work around Duncan, leaves it off. One-hand floater from Baines, no good, out of bounds. And last touch by Cox, and now the officials are going to get together as Cox is pleading his case. This may go the other way, and it will. It will be magic ball with 24 on the shot clock.
And Terry Thomas, again, very active on the offensive side of things. Has been held to less than 20 points just a handful of times this season. 31, 20, 23 in his last 3. Obviously had that brief appearance in 8 minutes of game time against Niagara. And after that marathon 147-146 game, yeah, might as well just roll over the oxygen tank for him in that one, I think. Or after that, let him relax.
Rogers leaves it for Hurt. Back to Rogers. Baseline jumper, no good. Anderson there for the board. Anderson floats, can't get it to go, but Taylor there to tip in the rebound.
Kind of an excuse me tip in there, it looked like, from Denzel Taylor, who seemed kind of caught by surprise that he was able to do so as easily as he did and the way that he did.
Rogers up top looking for that teardrop pass to Hall. Hall has it poked away, though. A nice steal from Denzel Taylor.
That's sometimes the issue with keeping the ball as low as Hall did in that instance. Good power dribble initially, but again, it allowed for the reach in and the deflection to knock the ball loose.
Five minutes here into the second half, and the Magic have done nothing but extend that lead up to 14 points, their biggest of the night. Stewart, the step back, and it's at 16.
Shots just aren't falling for KW, and they are for Moncton. It's been a struggle offensively for the Titans, but nice move there. They have to continue doing more of that. Looking for a foul call, nothing from the officials.
Great drive by Duncan, gets it to go. Anderson, the 3 in response is no good. Taylor and Hall battling for it, and the Titans have the ball.
Duncan nearly, ran into Hurt there.
Rogers, the baseline jumper, rattles it in. That's a quick 4-0 run to try and gain some traction for the Titans, and it's a 12-point game.
Given an opportunity, Rogers likes that look baseline. Executed there.
Stewart drives through, floats it into the corner. Thomas, Baines, long 2. No good. Rogers trying to secure the rebound, and he does.
Boy, that Stewart pretty pesky there against Rogers. Some active hands, nearly coming away with that loose ball.
Move in the post that time from Hall, no good. Sutherland on the follow-up, also off the mark. And now the other way, Thomas can't get it to go, but the put back from Baines.
Hurt the last man back, did enough to disrupt that lane attempt, but no one else coming back in white jerseys to help him out, and resulted in a putback slam.
Duncan now with 7 to shoot. Get some help off the screen from Rogers. Sutherland, Hall the corner 3. And now at the big man, knocking it down from deep. It's a long 2. The 7-footer showing off the range.
He certainly has it too. Doesn't take him all too often, but he can hit him.
And then Anderson responds with the coast-to-coast hoop and the harm. A chance for the Miracles, the Magic, to get that lead back to 16.
We're going to have Bird and Morrow coming back on here in a second after the timeout on the floor for both teams. And again, our thanks to everyone tuning in on the live stream on YouTube and sending us their comments and thoughts on tonight's ball game. And we have to give a shout out to also the other member of the Hall family, Phil Hall, tuning in from Pennsylvania, trying to get in on the commentary of the broadcast here, Ian. So we'll have to keep a seat warm for him next time he makes the trip. But I'd say the fair thing to do would be to maybe pack some Yuengling on ice on his trip here. That Yuengling is something else. So going into this timeout, KW's offense maybe starting to warm up a little bit, but they have to get those stops. They can't allow the responses from Moncton.
As far as shooting goes, KW not far off, 40% compared to Moncton's 43. Turnovers have been crucial. The Titans turned the ball over 11 times and getting dominated on the glass. 13 offensive rebounds have led to 15 second chance points for the Magic.
Moncton looking for the 11th win of the year, sitting at a .500 record in KW. Just a few games behind the Windsor Express with 3 games in hand. Well, there'll be 2 after tonight's game. Windsor sitting at 7-10. They're really trying to chase 2 teams down, and Niagara and Windsor both sub-500 squads at the moment, like the Titans.
Anthony Anderson completing with a 3-point play, and once again, Moncton matches its biggest lead of the night at 16. Bird, the pump fake, the drive, and the score. Russell Bird making it look easy.
And Elmar Starks with a nice grip pick there with the turnover.
Right off the inbound, Sutherland corner 3, and another air ball for Sutherland. He has not looked himself shooting the basketball tonight.
And he certainly didn't get his feet set under that shot. Missed everything but the bottom part of the net. So definitely you get a bit of a high coming off that turnover as Starks was hustling, and a shot not so good in the end result. Morrow
Leaves it for Bird. Entry pass. Hall. Down low against Taylor.
Keep feeding the big man. Pound that rock. At the very least, you're going to draw some foul calls. Seems like I sound like a broken record saying that, but especially when the shots aren't falling, got to keep it simple.
That's just the second team foul for the Magic this quarter. They've done a tremendous job staying out of foul trouble, and they've got plenty more to give. But regardless, Hall heading to the line here. On the season, a 73% free throw shooter.
And hard to believe it's his first free throw attempts of the game. He's been busy down low. Makes his first there.
All 2 for 2 from the line, trimming the lead down to 11. Almond. Sutherland on him defensively, and now it's Thomas. Mismatch against Starks. Thomas slashes. Can't get it to drop, but a foul called, a loose ball foul. Derek Hall is going to get charged with his 3rd of the evening.
Yeah, getting called on the push, and I think the officials got it right here. It was ever so slight, but Hall going up just gave an extra little shove there in behind. Probably tough for most of the fans in attendance to notice it, but here from floor level, you can just see it from our vantage point. Just trying to catch an edge there, and sometimes you get burned, sometimes you don't, but that instance, he did.
Taylor, good on his first on the season, shooting 82% from the stripe. It's both, and bad news as Nigel Titer forced to check into the game as Derek Hall heads off with foul trouble. Terry Thomas also out of the game. Jason Caliste back in.
And aside from foul trouble, I think they just want the energy that Titer brings to the floor once they get him banging down there a little bit.
Morrow in trouble, and it looks like it's going to be Allman picking up the foul. Sutherland, and that time another foul called. That one's going to go on Jennings. It's his first. Oh, my apologies. It's actually Caliste picking up his first foul. He's contributed well, though, with 9 points off the bench. Scoring 9 of Moncton's 27 from their secondary unit. 3 off the inbound, and able to knock it down was Ahmad Starks, trying to cut into this lead back to a 10-point game.
Starks, pretty quiet first half for him, just 3 on the board. And you're right, maybe just trying to lead the charge here a little bit, the Chicago native with that 3 ball.
Jennings, the runner off the glass, the miss. And the Titans have a chance to bring it as close as they've been this half. Starks, 3, puts it in. Back-to-back threes for Ahmad Starks. It's a 7-point game. Timeout, Moncton.
That's a great timeout by Coach Salerno, proving why he's the winningest coach in the NBL. Might seem like such a small thing, but you don't want to give the Titans life if you're the Moncton Magic. But for KW, got down to a single-digit lead now, and these bench players coming on, maybe breathing some life in this offense that has been stagnant for the most part. Hasn't been all too consistent here tonight. We're hovering now around 43%, besting the Magic in that area, but it's only as of late they may be starting to start rolling a bit more. But 18 attempts for the free throw line to KW's 9. That to me says a lot about the kind of offensive attack that the Moncton Magic are providing, or showing anyways. You could argue those are all but 3 points, so anytime 15 of 18, there's most of your differential right there on the scoreboard with a 7-point lead that Moncton holds. It'll be back in action this coming Saturday night, right here at the Odd. We'll be hosting Niagara. That's going to be a key matchup, key divisional matchup for sure.
Just under 3 to go now in the third quarter. Jennings across to Marquise Clayton, who's back into the game. 5 down the shot clock. Allman, the drive, flips it up. Morrow got a piece of it.
Great stop there from the Titans.
Able to force the turnover. Starks, how about another 3? That one front rims.
Not a bad decision there from Starks. Had the look. He's obviously had the back-to-back. Why not go for 3 in that instance? But here the Titans can't give up points here.
That pass intercepted by Denzel James and draws the foul.
Good anticipation as that zip line of a pass was intended for Jason Calise near side here. And it's one of those big risk, big reward. As Denzel James, had he not gotten the hand of it, he would have been beaten defensively cleanly by Calise. He could have stepped in a couple more feet for an open look or taken it all the way to the rack.
Russell Bird over to Starks. Works it down low to Tighter with 5 to shoot. Cutting through, tries to dish it back out. Bird has to throw it up as the shot clock expires, and 3 free throws coming up for Russell Bird.
Big free throws right here for Bird. As Bird just the 2 points tonight. But identified the situation there with defenders collapsing in on him. Got the clear contact on a shooting arm. Michigan State University grad nails his first, chatting with him post-game yesterday. Had to swallow a bitter pill after U of M. The Wolverines upset the Spartans over the weekend.
Bird drops in the first 2 on the season, 73% from the line, and that cuts it to a 2-score game.
And all of a sudden, a bit more buzz here at the Odd as Titans have battled back. Another strip.
Starks once again forcing the turnover and looking to keep that fast pace going. Bird.
Don't settle here if you're KW.
Minute and a half to go in the third quarter. Starks rolling out to his right, swings inside. Tighter got tied up. Caliste, the foul.
That's a great look inside by Starks, and Tighter's going to rightfully come over and give him a high five there as he beeline a pass into the paint. And another trip to the line for KW. What did I tell you, Ian?
Tighter now heading to the line, a chance to bring it back to a 1-score game. Rattles in the first.
And the Titans, with this kind of approach, they control the pace of the game. You're not pulling up shooting Jays and allowing the team on the other side to potentially pick up a rebound and just use speed going the other way.
68-66. Kitchener-Waterloo climbing their way back into this one.
And their bench has come to life. KW's 13 points in this quarter, outscoring Moncton's 13-4.
Taylor backing in on Tighter. Foul called.
That's going to get a collective groan from this crowd.
Tighter's second.
But he's put in some good minutes coming in for Hall. With Hall nursing those 3 fouls, along with his game-high 16 points at the moment. And almost like karma there with Taylor missing the free throw. Or at least these fans will think so. KW coming back with a 25-point third quarter thus far, returning the favor to Moncton. That's just their 16th point of the frame right there.
Starks leaving it for Bird. Over to James now with 10 to shoot, and Taylor reached in and is going to get called for his 4th foul of the day.
Denzel Taylor, the Brampton native and an Old Dominion grad, getting burned for the foul call, and he's going to head off. As part of the Canadian Junior Men's Basketball Team, 18 and 19U. And really known for his defensive play. Back last year was a Conference USA All-Defensive Team honoree. And was in the top 10 in the school's Old Dominions rebounding list with 928 career rebounds.
Titer 2 for 2 at the line, 69-68. Magic with that slim edge. Allman driving, fading, and scoring.
And pleading for a foul call. Might have had a case.
13-second difference between the two clocks, and Titer going to draw another foul. That time Cox got the elbow up. That'll be his fourth.
And the best way to describe Nigel Titer is just really a beast. He's so strong and so tough for defenders to handle, and Coach Langis has said this numerous times aside. Sometimes he doesn't know how to really control his own strength, and that's what's led to his foul troubles in the past.
With that, forced to make another move is Salerno as Baines set to check in. Titer off the mark on number 1.
Don't want missed free throws to become a factor in determining the outcome of this ball game. He's got to at least nail this one now. Settle and take a breath, big fella.
Titer goes 1 for 2. Baines checking back into the ball game.
And Coach Langis really emphasizing, if you're switching on D, call out the ISO here. Layman's terms, communicate out there, guys.
Jennings for 3. Won't go. The Titans will get the final shot. Can tie or take the lead. 5 seconds to go in the third. Titer drawing another foul.
And he is amped up, 34. He's had himself a quarter, and that brings a bit of a grin to Coach Langis' face right there, rightfully so. He's taken full advantage of this opportunity and heads right back to the line. The team doing a good job of identifying it too. He's been giving Moncton headaches, and they keep getting them the basketball.
Titer, good on the first. What a third quarter for Nigel Titer, drawing fouls, and
would be poetic here if he ties things up too, just before the end of the third.
.71 aside. Titer earning all his points from a free throw line, and the Titans are going to get the ball back with 0.3 of a second remaining.
Mid-court, maybe a quick catch shoot here situation. Just before mid-court.
They're going to hold for the fourth. Regardless, down as many as 17. They were down 12 at the half. All of a sudden, all knotted at 71. What a run by KW in this third quarter.
It seemed about midway through that quarter, once Ahmad Starks hit those back-to-back threes, that really seemed to spark something, not to mention the substitution. But Nigel Titer, Derek Hall dealing with 3 fouls. They sit him down because they're going to need him in this fourth. But Titer, what a job coming off the bench to reprieve him and providing a real tough presence down low. Moncton didn't have an answer for him, and that results in a 30-18 third quarter, KW outscoring Moncton.
The offensive rebounds have been a big story throughout this game. Moncton just dominating the Titans on the glass. 14 offensive rebounds have now led to 17 second chance points, but if the Titans can keep grinding their way down low, it won't really matter, as they've definitely came out of the locker room with a different approach, especially when they found themselves down by that big margin, down by 16. Just 5 minutes into the second half, battling back and tying it 71 aside.
As you mentioned, this is the one of 2 NBL Canada games this evening. It's the Edge leading the other one down to 401 in London at the moment. And to touch on viewer Phil Hall's points, or question anyways, it's the Kitchener Rangers of the Ontario Hockey League that do share this historic building with the KW Titans. And the Rangers, in fact, in terms of a hockey score update, are in Mississauga, for those who aren't familiar. They are based out of St. Catharines, Ontario, about, I'd say, just over an hour east of here. And the Rangers up 5-0 on those Ice Dogs. Rangers playing pretty well this season. And a good brand of hockey. Really the feeder system to the NHL. A lot of future stars in that league. Looking at the NBL of Canada and what they're offering here tonight, it's turning into a pretty good finish potentially between two teams. One looking to get over 500 again, whereas another trying to just inch a little closer to that mark.
That time it looked like Titer got tied up with someone else, and indeed he did. Terrell Baines going to get called for his 4th foul. Get Moncton the penalty early, I'm sure, is a big point they're thinking of. They were in it early in that 3rd quarter, and free throws the rest of the way for KW. But first, Coach Salerno wants to talk things over with the official.
You have to respect the approach he takes. As a head coach here, he keeps pretty level-headed. He's a cool customer there. But having this kind of side conversation, he at least knows, or at least gets in the official's head a little bit, let him know where he stands, and you get a bit more respect, I think, from the official in that instance.
Absolutely. Hall. Here's Bird working over to James. Deep 3 ball from James won't go. Titer trying to climb the ladder, but can't pull down the board. And then a foul away from the ball. That's going to go on James.
Caught on the hold there is Denzel James. Limited action here this evening again.
Stewart. Baines the turnaround. Banks it in. Off the window. Baines restores that Moncton lead. They have not trailed since the 1st quarter.
5 lead changes in this one. Been pretty one-sided for the most part.
Bird had it, spun and lost it, diving on the floor. Calise gets to it, almost throws it away. Titer battling for it, and Stewart able to maintain possession cleanly.
What a job by Almond to save that ball before it rolled out of bounds, too.
Almond going to go at that entry pass to Baines. Backing in on Morrow, the turnaround, the foul called.
On Titer.
Check
that Morrow, yeah.
That's going to be number 2 on him. Derek Hall is really the only Titan in foul trouble who has 3+. Rogers also joining him there. The 2, though, combining for 28 points on the night. Only Titans in double figures, but both on the bench to start the 4th quarter.
And block, partial, unintentional block, whatever you want to call it, from Nigel Titer. Forces the turnover.
Starks the transition 3 won't go. Morrow battling for the rebound. James 2 hands on it, but gives it right back to Caliste. Caliste slips, and a foul going to be called. That's on James. Number 3 on him.
That's tough for KW there as the pull-up 3, and you fight so hard to get that rebound, but that head fake didn't work, and especially on the lob too. Didn't have that enough weight to get to the intended recipient. Now Hurt is going to check back in. And Justin Hurt, 24 minutes of action, just 2 of 9 shooting after 3 quarters of play. He's just trying to get back into, I guess, game speed after dealing with that bit of a hip contusion, and there, a nice response from Moncton.
Almond splashes the 3, restores the 5-point edge. Here's Hurt. Watched by Caliste. 10 minutes to go in the ball game. 5-point Moncton advantage. Bird for 3. No good. A good-looking shot and a good look, but Bird can't connect, and a chance for Moncton to extend the other way. Baines over Titer. No good. Don't forget Baines playing with 4 fouls of his own. Hurt. Cuts through traffic, slashes, and draws the foul. Looks like the foul is going to go on Jennings.
I'm glad you used that word yet again in describing Justin Hurt, too. Exactly what he did throughout his collegiate career. in Tulsa. And gained a reputation of just being a fearless offensive player. A little disregard for his own well-being just to put up some offensive numbers, and what the Titans needed, especially in that instance there, drawing the foul call.
Second team foul on Moncton, so still a long way to go before the penalty, but both teams were in it quickly in a hurry in the second half to start.
Well, you figure coming into this one, it'd be a low-scoring affair. Again, the number 2 ranked defense in the entire league, the Moncton Magic, and the KW Titans still dead last in the league in total offense per game.
Calise for 3, drops it in. Jason Calise, and just like that, Moncton up 7.
So cool with that crossover, keeps it simple, and his third 3 of the night.
Hurt goes all the way across. Starks. Morrow for 3. That's good. Greg Morrow from downtown.
And that's what the extra pass can get you. Wide open, Greg Morrow.
Morrow now 2 for 2 from beyond the arc, and the other way it's Kevin Farrell Thomas drawing the foul, getting his first minutes of the evening.
Playing in front of family and friends, I'm sure. Toronto, Ontario native, 6'8", 270. He's a big boy.
And Titer is going to head off and leave to a round of applause, and deservedly so. What an outing for number 34.
Absolutely. You can ask more of him here this evening.
Farrell Thomas, good on the first. Thomas off the mark on the second. So Moncton's lead halted at 4. 80-76, 8:40 to go. Once again, Ian Jodry and Dan Polishchuk joining you here as Bird misses the 3. KW trying to make it consecutive victories for the first time this season. Moncton looking to snap their 2-game losing skid. That time a foul called. It's going to go on Almond. That's his third. Moncton bench not happy about that call.
Not at all. You see Almond there with hands on his head in disbelief.
Hurt steps up and drains the first. We mentioned in his first 3 games with KW on the road, he averaged 19 points, and those 3 contests proved to be huge in London. Of course, the weekend series in Newfoundland. 2 for 2 there. Just like that, he's got 12 on the evening. 80-78. Caliste gets a screen from Farrell Thomas. Shot clock hits 5. Jennings, quick pass down low. Into the corner for Almond. 3 off the mark, and Bird with the rebound. Hurt.
KW nearly getting caught in the switch, but able to force that shot.
Interesting shot selection there from Hurt early in the shot clock. Stewart trying to go coast to coast, lost it, but it'll stay Magic basketball. Terry Thomas is going to check back in, and so does Tremar Sutherland.
And 2 now Father Henry Carr graduates, high school in Toronto, in Sutherland and Farrell Thomas. Happy secondary school, I guess. Did I mention high school?
Of course, Father Henry Carr, yes, one of the
prodigious high schools in Toronto for basketball.
Top teams in the nation each year. Jennings, baseline, no good. Battling for the rebound, and it's going to be off, Hurt, and out. So a fresh 24 for Moncton. Of course, Tyler Ennis and Dylan Brooks both out of Henry Carr. Driving Thomas flips up with the right hand, won't go. Offensive rebound, and Farrell Thomas is going to head to the line for 2. Those offensive rebounds.
Well, that was and plus that was a mismatch of the nth degree right there. You've got the 6'8", 270 Farrell Thomas going up on the 6'3", 200. Yeah, that weight difference in itself just makes a huge difference trying to contain him.
Farrell Thomas off the mark on his first shot. One for 2 at the line, so still a 1-score game. 7.5 to go. Starks controlling the pace, popping for 3 and dropping it in. Ahmad Starks tie game at 81.
We've seen this before, haven't we, Ian?
Looks familiar. Starks doing it once again, and Bird called for the foul on Jennings.
Sub into the game for Moncton, number 5, Denzel Taylor.
And a foul. And that one's actually going to go on Jennings. He picks up his 3rd foul right after Bird picked one up.
And those are the kind of instances that drive coaches wild, and see Coach Salerno still having a couple words for the official there.
Starks crosses over on Stewart. Bringing down low, here's Hall. Tries to leave it for Hurt, but results in a turnover. Thomas with Stewart. Thomas doesn't lay it in himself, but he's going to head to the line.
So it's me Hall's 4th there, as that's what happens when you use the speed in the transition game. Thomas drains his first.
Thomas, as we mentioned, the 3rd highest scorer in the league this season. Just under 23 points a game, hits both there, and once again restores the Magic advantage.
Just 13 points tonight, though. He's been held in check pretty effectively overall. Not your standard Terry Thomas output.
Sutherland, that looks like a long 2. Drops it in, and that's actually a 3 from Shamar Sutherland. 84-83.
We've seen some ugly-looking attempts from Shamar Sutherland as of late, but that's a big 3 right there. Now a foul call again. And that's number 5 on Hall. And that might just be an instance of the big man's size being a detriment.
So now Derek Hall playing with 5 fouls, 1 more and he's done. Thomas has tied the game at 84 with his first free throw. Looks like Kevin Rogers is going to come in to take his place. Thomas rims out. So Hall will have to stay on the floor for now. Starks the long 2.
Fadeaway J there for the Chicago native. Just like he did it in the parks of Chi-Town. Sweet looking stroke there as Taylor, nice pump fake and responds. Getting Hurt out of his shoes.
Hurt was biting all the way there and once again ties the game at 86. Starks the left-hand dribble. Looks for help from Russell Bird. Hall back to Bird. Starks, 3-ball, no good.
A good job of the Moncton Magic keeping the shooters out to the perimeter.
Jennings, a difficult shot and a late foul called, and Now the crowd getting extremely antsy.
I don't think it helped that that whistle came late, too.
I got an extra set of glasses.
5:36 left, and there's going to be explanations needed all around, I think, on this one.
And the boos raining out here. Bird getting called for the foul. Watching the replay, if anything, I thought it would have been Starks who gets called for it.
Because he was trailing in there a little bit and attempted to reach in.
Bird didn't seem anywhere near the play. But indeed it is Russell Bird who gets called for his third foul of the evening at a crucial time in the ball game. Puts KW in the penalty.
Just taking another look at this. Bird was turning to gather in that loose or that ball as it was falling through the basket at that point. The shot was already put up at that instance. I'm not sure about that one, but yeah, we'll leave it at that.
All right, let's hear it for your KW Titans fans from all game long. They've been looking for the fans.
Square, all square here in Kitchener, and certainly hope those kind of things don't become a determining factor in the result of this ball game.
They have now officially made a substitution with Kevin Rogers into the game as Derek Hall, 5 fouls. You can imagine Coach Langis is going to want to preserve his big man in the event that this game goes down to the wire, and that's the way it's trending.
Got Rogers out there along with Hurt, Bird, Starks, and Sutherland.
So it's Brett Jennings at the free throw line, has not found the score sheet today, but he will with that free throw.
The only player on either roster to not have scored up to this point.
Jennings, 68% from the line this year, goes 2 for 2.
Bain's going to check back in here for the Magic as Jennings does a job and heads right off.
Bird, Hurt, looking to swing that down low to Rogers. Rogers cutting through traffic, spins back inside, but can't finish. Moncton up 2, Caliste, the pump fake to draw Sutherland in, and then a foul called.
Caliste does that so well. We've seen it time and again from him, even last year. He sells that head fake and splits the defenders, and all of a sudden, as a Titans defender, you're trailing and having to get back to challenge any potential lay-in or pull-up J. And a little over-aggressive in trying to do so, and Caliste with his traditional 3 around the hips will settle in for the free throws.
The 10th team foul of the 4th quarter for Kitchener-Waterloo, and it is the 5th on Tremar Sutherland, so one more and he's gone. Caliste going around the world and then drops in the second, restoring that 4-point Magic lead.
Still lots of time to go here. No need for KW to rush their looks.
Starks to Bird.
Make these possessions count.
Shot clock hits 8. Sutherland. Hurt contested 3, no good. Rogers battling for the rebound.
And again, everything kept to the outside. Moncton doing a job defensively.
Inside the 5-minute mark now. Thomas lost the basketball, but it's going to stay with Moncton. Anthony Anderson, NBL Canada's all-time leading scorer, going to check back into the ball game.
Grizzled veteran that he is. He's played in a few of these kind of situations.
Stewart pulls up with 5 to shoot. Won't go. Long rebound. Starks has it.
Just kind of stagnant there towards the end of that shot clock for Moncton.
Down low. Rogers whips down the one-hand jam. What a play from Kevin Rogers.
And that pass by Starks was spot on. Caught Rogers in stride. That was the most important part of it. Led him enough to grab that in and slam it home.
Taylor trying to pivot inside on Rogers. Gains separation but misses. Shot clock resets and Stewart scores. Big play by the Titans to force that miss, but we're not on the same page and giving Moncton a second opportunity.
And you're just checking out the scores table because a warning was just handed out. And Coach Land just want to make sure that everything was in order in that respect.
So it should be 92-88 on the scoreboard. Bird catch and shoot three, puts it in. Russell Bird, and it's back to a one-point game again.
It's been a struggle for Russell Bird this season, to say the least. 36% from beyond the arc. Oh, my goodness.
Terry Thomas taking flight.
Even Bird had a smile there. You have to appreciate the height on that one.
Rogers for three. Well off the mark, but Hurt there for the rebound, and it's a one-point game again.
Hurt got to the spot a little bit sooner, and after beating Taylor, was able to put it back. And again, another response from Moncton. KW's got to get some stops here.
None other than Terry Thomas. What a night for him. He hits the 20 mark. There's a reason he's top three in the league in scoring. 96-93, Moncton takes the lead. An entertaining few minutes we've got here in Kitchener, but it's not going to mean a whole lot to the Titans staff if they don't pick up the big dub here tonight.
Absolutely. They want to get this back-to-back at home. Start getting on the winning side of things a bit more regularly, especially after that 6-game losing skid. And going back to my initial comment, I was starting on Russell Bird. He is, as much as anyone knows, the struggles he's been having. 36% from beyond the arc, especially last year. He's well below that at 29% coming into tonight's ball game. It was a big three a second ago. And sometimes, yeah, sure, you could question his shot selection, much like any other Titans. It's been a struggle as a whole for the most part this season. So to single him all alone wouldn't necessarily be the right thing to do, but I'm sure he's fully aware of what he has to work on here, as do these Titans, and they've been working hard in practice to be sure. Coach Landis has been putting them through the grinder. They realize what's at stake here, and they can't let much more of the season go by the way it has been so far.
Rogers, Starks, Sutherland, Hurt, and Bird back out for KW. It'll be Stewart, Thomas, Taylor, Anderson, and Baines for the Magic. Taylor and Clayton both playing with 5 fouls. Sutherland also has 5 on him. We have not seen Derek Hall check back into the game for now. 96-93, Magic on top. Starks slips, hangs onto the basketball, gets it to Bird. He falls down, and it leads to a turnover. Baines, the easy two-hand jam.
Not much more you can say in that. It's just a bad break there for the Titans. That dust themselves off here.
Starks, the step back. Won't go, but the tip in from Rogers is off the mark. Thomas trying to go coast to coast, and what a finish from Terry Thomas. Back to a 7-point Moncton lead.
These transition points are killing KW right now. This could be the difference maker in the ball game.
Hurt over to Bird. Inside the 2-minute mark. Bird 3, no good. Anderson the rebound, and Moncton trying to put this one to bed. Thomas crosses, loses it. Anderson underneath the hoop. It's Taylor finishing it off. 102-93. Just like that, Moncton goes up 9.
6-0 run of that timeout. And all of a sudden, like you said, with 1:45 to go, the task all that much tougher for KW to mount a comeback here. But again, looking at that stat sheet, it's the points to the paint. And we've seen the last handful of trips up the floor and possessions for KW. There's been really nothing in terms of options down low for them. Settling for those outside jumpers and just crashing the boards at that point.
We mentioned Moncton's lead was as large as 16. KW did not lead through quarters 2 and 3, but they did in the fourth. So that 6-0 Moncton run out of that last timeout has really pushed them back to where they need to be. 1:45 to go, and we can imagine that we'll see Derek Hall out of this timeout.
I would assume that's a safe bet. He's been burned for maybe a couple questionable calls, but he's going to be out there right now with 1:45 to go. 16 points, 8 rebounds, closing in on a double-double. If it wasn't obvious already by that stat line.
So indeed, Bird staying in the game, Hall checking in, Rogers goes off. Sutherland driving into the corner, Bird for 3, no good. That was a big one that the Titans needed. Good ball movement to set up Bird and a high percentage look in the corner. And now we hit the 1:15 mark. Here's Anthony Anderson. Baines hesitates, floats it inside, and the finish from Taylor. It's a double-digit Moncton lead.
Just some good patience and great passing in that instance.
And they throw it away. Sutherland throws the ball away. Stewart, the easy score on the other end, and things just unraveling here. It's a 10-0 run for Moncton.
Yeah, things have just absolutely imploded here.
Starks looking for a quick one, gets swatted away. Hall gets it back though. Shot clock doesn't reset. Hurt the corner 3. Gives him a bit of life, but still a 10-point game. And with no fouls to give, and Bird gonna send him to the line just to stop the clock.
And right after Hurt drained that, he walked over to Coach Langes, limping significantly, and I think his hip has flared up again. So Darren Duncan, with 44 seconds left, is gonna come back onto the floor. Down 10 though at this point. Reading might be on the wall with this free throws, with these free throws coming up.
Stewart, good on the first. Just 44 seconds left. Clayton and Farrell Thomas going to check back in a 108-66 Moncton lead. Bird, an open look for 3. He gets that one to go. 108-99, so a single-digit game, but forced a foul with time of the essence. And at this point, all you can hope for is a flurry of missed free throws. Send Stewart back to the line.
And while we have a moment to address a first-time viewer in Chandler, Russell Bird certainly has been known from his college days as someone that's not hesitant to take that long-distance shot. And throughout his NBL Canada career, he's obviously had his well-documented struggles this year, especially back with Michigan State. 21 of his 27 field goal attempts in his final year with them were from three-point range, and he's kind of continued in that respect throughout his pro career.
Starks missing again. This time the Titans are not going to foul. Anderson will hold the ball. And a disappointing finish, to say the least, for the Titans, who had it in their grasp. A fourth quarter lead after battling back from being down 17. Moncton snaps their short 2-game losing skid. And the Titans, they dropped this one 110-99 the final, and looked like so much promise off the start. A 7-point lead in the early going in the first quarter.
That's a play down the stretch that essentially was the Titans undoing. 39 fourth quarter points. They hadn't allowed more than 27 in a quarter up to that period, and really at the end of the day, that's what's going to be the difference between a W and an L, and it's another one for KW as they drop to 3-12 in the campaign. Moncton on the other side of things gets a game above 500, 11-10 on the year, as they bounce back from 2 straight back-to-back losses.
You know, looking at the game overall, the rotation you kind of liked it now that they've got Hurt back into the mix, and now they're working what seem to be who their top scorers will be throughout the season. And they recall Justin Hurt, Kevin Rogers. And it's just a matter of finding the right rhythm with those three, because they certainly have the ability to do it.
And not to mention the guys that bring off the bench, and Ahmad Starks and Nigel Titer now too, all of a sudden becoming a name that people are recognizing and calling for maybe a bit more after these last 2 games especially played fantastic tonight. But at the end of the day, their defense needs to clamp down when it comes to the latter stages of a ball game, and it certainly didn't here tonight. Moncton's, though, coming up with some big turnovers, and those turnovers results in points, and those points obviously resulted in a win.
The Magic capping off their Ontario road swing 2-2. The Titans, will continue their 5-game homestand with episode 3 on Saturday, January 20th. Take on Niagara River Lions at 7 p.m. I'd like to thank you for tuning in. For Dan Paulchuk, I'm Ian Jodry, and good night from Kitchener.